It turns out that the happiest of all wives in America are religious conservatives. What they're saying is that the people on the so-called extreme ends of the spectrum are the happiest, while people in the middle are less happy. So you've got religious conservatives who are the happiest, and then second place are progressive religious women, and then the people in the middle are miserable, it turns out. Now, the article suggests some reasons for that. It says maybe folks in the middle don't have the same community support because when you're affiliated with a group, religious group, a church, you're going to have that community support will make you happier. There's probably some truth to that. They also talk about how the men on both ends of the spectrum tend to be more involved, which makes the wives happier, which obviously is true. And I think all that's true. We'll get back to the men in a second, but I think there's something else at play here. And it's much more foundational. Marriages are happier and healthier when they are structured around something greater than the marriage itself. So the marriage has to have a point to it that goes beyond itself. And it's the same for people. We have to have a point that goes beyond ourselves, that looks outside of ourselves, above ourselves. Religious couples answer to a higher authority. They have a higher purpose that they look to and that they call upon. So they're not winging it as they go. They're not making it up as they go along. They're not confused as much. And it means that ideally that there's going to be humility as well, because both partners realize that they are not the ones in charge. Right. I think non-religious couples aren't always sure about the grand plan. Ultimately, they don't know what direction they're going as a family. They make up their purpose every day. They try to build a new foundation for their family every day and from scratch. And it just doesn't work. There's going to be confusion and resentment and competition and all of that. It all creeps in when you don't have that religious foundation. Now, the part about men is important too. The article says, in fact, in listening to the happiest secular progressive wives and their religiously conservative counterparts, we noticed something they share in common: devoted family men. Both feminism and faith give family men a clear code. They're supposed to play a big role in their kids' lives, and it shows. Both culturally progressive and religiously conservative fathers report high levels of paternal engagement. Now, I have to be skeptical about the idea that feminism gives men a code. I mean, the code for men in feminism is shut up and get out of the way, which is exactly the opposite of what you want husbands and fathers to be doing. But it is true that men do need a code. That's John Wayne said, a man's got to have a code, something to live by. And he's exactly right about that. Religious men have that code to live by, which gives them purpose and meaning. And they bring that purpose and meaning into the family, and it gives their family purpose and meaning. And I think that's where a lot of the happiness comes from. I thought it was interesting reading the comments about this article on social media, because the comments are filled with people insisting that there's no way religious people are actually this happy. Let me read a few of these comments. It says, "This is hilarious. They all asked their spouses if it was okay to answer the survey in the first place. Then they made it a dinner table conversation to make sure they answered the questions correctly. I know evangelicals. Women do not have separate lives." Does this person sound like someone who knows evangelicals? Yeah, they're all sitting around. The woman, the wife was afraid to answer the survey, so they all sat around the table. And the wife said, "Gee, what should we say, folks? Should we all say that we're happy? Is that what we should tell the survey person?" And the husband is sitting solemnly at the head of the table. "You will say you're happy. We are a happy family, damn it." That's how secular progressives see religious people. That's how they imagine our families work. It's not, by the way.